Good afternoon, everyone. We are streaming to YouTube. We are not recording in this session due to a hiccup in the Zoom management software. So the only recording that will be available will be through the notes, the minutes, and on YouTube. Aaron, when you're ready to start the meeting, just let me know and I will stop the screen share.
All right, thanks, Frank. Jay, Happy New Year.
Aaron, same to you. I think we need a couple of more board members to convene the meeting.
Yeah, we got Chuck coming in.
There's Chuck.
Kathy won't be able to make it because the Historic Review Commission is at the same time today, so she's at that.
Well, we see where her priorities lie. You must have some unsavory task we need to appoint a chair of a subcommittee to or something like that we can punish her with.
Oh yeah, we can find something. We can get her liaison to something.
Yeah. Did we hear from Rose or Kevin?
No, I didn't hear anything back from either of them.
Make for a very short meeting.
Yeah, well, the agenda was short as it is.
We'll give them a few minutes and then maybe we can start covering some of the non-voting items. And if we don't find anybody before the CDBG resolution comes up, I guess we'll have to defer it. Are we able to do that, or is that time sensitive?
Well, the applications are due the end of January. It's not something that is necessarily needed for me to submit the application, just kind of something that we have always done. So it was just, you know, at the end, the city requests a resolution from the board for what we actually get awarded anyways. So.
Okay.
Rose is having trouble. Let's see if we can figure it out.
It was a little more complicated than clicking on the link and there you were.
Yeah, I had to register and do all that.
Yeah.
All right, Rose sent an email. She's having trouble logging in, so I just sent her the link again. And Frank did as well.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, there's Kevin. Hello.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year,
New Year, yes. We're just waiting for Rose, Kevin. She's having a little bit of trouble logging in.
Okay.
As I would have if I hadn't started early and done 3 different ways before I succeeded. Password? What?
When did it ask you for a password, Jay?
when I clicked on the not join meeting, I had to give a password to get to that point.
Okay, huh? Because I had a BPRC board member have kind of the same problem, and
And it was my Zoom password, which I didn't even remember I had one, that it wanted,
okay,
not a meeting specific password.
gotcha. Your password for your Zoom account, because it has to link to your Zoom account. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, unfortunately now Zoom has made it so if you use their platform, you have to have a user account with Zoom. So that is where we're kind of running into some issues, but it's easy enough to set up a Zoom or to reset your password quickly if you'd like to participate in future meetings. But it seems you all have succeeded in making it this far. So Aaron, I'm going to stop sharing the screen so you all can see one another. And I think when Rose gets in, if she gets in, you guys can probably continue on.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it.
There's Liz and Mr. Troop, welcome. I think we might as well get started, and we'll let Rose join when she gets here. Since we're on Zoom, I think we can dispense with the Pledge of Allegiance and move to the consent agenda. That consists of approving the meeting agenda and the minutes from our December 13, 2021 regular meeting. So do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll be happy to make that motion. Chuck Scalise.
Chuck, and do we have a second? Kevin, you're it. Kevin's on mute, but he seconded. I read lips. No, not really, but I did there. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye, or raise your hand, or whatever suits your fancy.
Aye.
Thank you. Finance report.
All right, Carrie, you want to handle that?
I'm still plugging away at cleaning the accounts up and setting up the chart of accounts. I'm hoping by the end of January, when you see those going forward, you'll see a different set of books with your comparison that you're looking for as well.
Thank you.
I can say Carrie has been working very diligently to do that. It's a breath of fresh air to, kind of see that all coming together, and hopefully, we'll be able to have a better idea for next year when we put together the budget, what we've actually spent on individual items and stuff like that.
Harry, anything in particular to highlight on the balance sheet or the P&L?
Nothing at this time.
Does anyone have any questions regarding either the balance sheet or the P&L? If not, do we have a motion to approve the finance report?
I so move to approve the financial report.
Thank you, Kevin. Chuck, second.
I'd be happy to second. Thank you, Chuck Scalise.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Report of the executive director. Aaron.
All right, thanks, Jay. So I didn't provide any formal housing rehabilitation report as there hasn't been much change since our December 13th meeting with the holidays. Our programs kind of come to a slow period over the holidays since we don't want to relocate anybody into a hotel kind of over that 2-week period at the end of the year. So kicking off this year, we've met, we've gone over our intake abilities and our programs, trying to get everything ramped up, bringing some new contractors on board as we try to facilitate getting all these programs running as smoothly as possible here in the next quarter. So just still working on completing the lead grant, working with the Cdbg funding from the county, the city, along with some of the other funding with the neighborhood groups that we have. So that's the rehabilitation report. And then as far as general updates, nothing new to report. We have brought on Cynthia Johnson, who is going to be our new admin at the front desk to help alleviate a lot of the phone calls, meetings with the public that kind of drag down staff time that has to go out and meet with the public in the lobby and answer the phone calls and do all that. So she's on board now, and it's been here a week, so it's been great having her as well. So Holly's still on, but she's taken on more of the intake portion of the authority and working with the individuals who are seeking assistance so that we can kind of streamline and have an efficiency in getting people enrolled in our program without having to have the distraction of the other things that come along with the office tasks. We have been working with Attorney Sundberg, who was unable to make the meeting today, with the final condemnation on a few of the properties. We finished up condemnation on a property on 102 East 24th Street. And then we had preliminary objections December 17th on two properties, 1615 Parade Street and 405, 407 East 7th Street. The judge on the 22nd issued his order on those properties and ordered them to a value of hearing. He also ordered that the authority update our appraisals of the property. So we have updated the appraisals of those two properties. The property on East 7th Street did get an appraised value of $18,000. So we are working with the reputed owner of that property and his attorney to see if we can come to a solution for him to retain ownership of that property. So we're working through that. Nothing yet. I haven't heard back from Gene following his conversations with attorney Susie on that. So that's all my general updates for today. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Aaron. Welcome, Cynthia. Did anybody have any questions for Aaron on those matters that report? If not, we'll move on to unfinished business and new business. The first item being the 2022 Cdbg funding request.
All right, thanks, Jay. As every year, we have to apply to the city of Erie for an allocation of Cdbg funding, and this year is no different. We're going to continue along the same path we did in the last 2 years and just apply for housing rehabilitation funding. I'm looking to request $200,000 for general housing rehabilitation, which is just kind of on the same level as what we have in the past 2 years. And then we're going to ask for our $75,000 in lead match, which was in the MOU with the city when we applied for the lead grant. So those are the only two that we're going to request for it this year. The rehabilitation funding, we will of course utilize for individuals as we bring on the ARP funding that don't qualify for that or that are outside the ARP areas, and benefit those individuals, so that we can have a complete coverage of the city of Erie with the Cdbg funding.
Questions for Aaron regarding the Cdbg resolution? If not, there is a proposed resolution in your meeting packet. Would anybody like to make that motion? Okay, no grant. Oh, Rose did. Welcome, Rose. Did you finally get signed in? It took me a while.
Yeah, I needed a meeting ID. I don't know if it's something with the Penn State system or, but I had no meeting ID. So now I'm here. Hello, everyone. Happy holiday.
Yes, happy 2022. Resolution by Rose. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Chuck, thank you. Discussion.
I maybe I got distracted here a second. Maybe Aaron mentioned it. Is there an indication of how much is being requested?
I am requesting $200,000 in rehabilitation, which would be just general rehabilitation to coverage the entire city of Erie, and then $75,000 in match to the lead grant.
Okay, thank you, and I apologize if that was mentioned before.
Oh, perfectly fine.
If there's no discussion, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries. Aaron, the housing plan.
All right, so just wanted to leave it on there just to update. Rose had asked for kind of a breakdown. Let me see if I can share up what I have. All right, everyone see my screen? So I just kind of put together a small little process. I'm still working on a bigger one as far as each individual initiative out of the ARP housing plan. So we still have yet to see the finalized intergovernmental agreement from the city of Erie. I anticipate that to come relatively quickly now that we did, the Treasury did put out their final guidance last week, all 450 plus pages of it. So it did clear up a lot of questions. So hopefully they'll be able to complete the intergovernmental agreement, and that will assist us in rolling out these programs. And I will send this out to you. I'm just kind of tweaking it a little bit. I was unable to get to it on Friday and kind of was bombarded with phone calls today. But so we got blight acquisition, rental investment would be, the top two that will get moving out, along with our Healthy Homes grant. And then as we roll into late February, early March would be when we anticipate kind of rolling out more of the loan programs. The housing rehabilitation loan will roll out a little bit later than the blight and that, but not as late as the other loan programs, since we do have the forgivable option on that. And then we'll work on the homeowner incentive grant, the housing and small business preservation grant, and the new production part of those as the last of the 8 initiatives to get rolled out, since those will be a little bit more involved in their rollout procedures, since those will have to be built from the ground up and won't be able to utilize or mirror any of our existing programs. So I'm going to just tweak this a little bit more, and then I'll get it out to the board here in the next day or so, kind of going along with the comment Kevin made at the December meeting. I'm just going to try to work on at least providing the board an update, at least bi-weekly, as far as what's going on with the authority. That way it can make our meetings as efficient as possible, and just give you a little bit more update as far as what's going on, specifically as far as the ARP housing plan goes. And then one other, we do the ENGP meeting, the Erie Neighborhood Growth Partnership, is scheduled to meet this Thursday. I had planned to have that in person, but we're going to switch that meeting to virtual as well. But we still plan to discuss the housing plans and start to lay out some of the process involved with getting some of those started. So that's planned for Thursday. That meeting's at 1 o'clock on Thursday.
Aaron, a couple of questions. One, does this money come once the intergovernmental agreement is signed, or is it coming in stages? I can't remember. And two, do we have additional hirings that we're working on for a couple of the positions that we need to implement the plan?
It's anticipated that as soon as the agreement is signed, the money will be able to be transferred in its entirety. That was what was conveyed to me back in December. And then we do have some additional positions that we will need to onboard. We do have a couple of the positions up on Indeed right now, accepting applications, trying to get a feel for what kind of applicants we have out there. It's been a little slow right now. I tweaked the one job description a little bit to clarify. We were receiving some people that weren't quite qualified. I think they were confusing it with a medical position. But so we're working through that, and hopefully be able to have some candidates to onboard as soon as we get that money. It's certainly something I don't want to bring anybody on at this point, since we don't have the money to float their operating and salaries here at this point until that money is available to us.
Thanks. Any other questions for Aaron regarding the housing plan?
I would just jump in and say, Aaron, if you needed any support, any volunteer time, anybody to read anything, happy to spend a few hours. And I, just because I know there's a lot going on at the authority and trying to rebuild the organization. So don't be bashful to ask your board to pitch in, just to bounce things off, to the extent that we can do this inside the whatever those legal parameters are. These aren't actually meetings, but conversations, however we work those.
All right, thanks, Chuck. I appreciate it.
I think I echo the same thing, Aaron.
Thank you.
See, Rose,
You know
and particularly Aaron, when you get to documentation for the loan and grant programs, if you need assistance, I don't know if the solicitor's office is able to provide that, but I know some lawyers who might be able to help.
All right, thanks.
A generous pro bono discounted rate. So happy to help there.
Awesome. Thank you.
I think that concludes that section of the agenda. Is there any other business that anyone's aware of to be brought before the meeting?
Jay,
If
I just
not-
wanted,
Yeah, Liz, I was going to call on you next.
okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to jump.
Nope, go ahead. I don't
Okay,
think anybody has any other business.
I just wanted to let the board know that Maurice Motroop, our new city council person, will be the new liaison to the Redevelopment Authority. And I have been, we have some other people in place in some of, Jasmine Flores will be the liaison to Blighted Property Review. And Michael Keys will be the liaison to the Land Bank. And Aaron has done a wonderful job in helping me to understand the various functions of those various agencies. So instead of me going to all those meetings, it'll be nice to have the work and the relationship building divided up. I really want to thank everybody for your patience. I know I'm not a member of the authority, but you've let me ask questions. And I know that there'll be good things ahead. We have, City Council expressed our faith in being able to get this housing program up and running with ARP funding. So thank you for everything. And by the way, I'm the new City Council president. That's why I am delegating. So thank you.
Well done. Well,
For everything.
one, congratulations on your ascension to the big seat. Secondly, thank you for your involvement with the authority. It's been very productive, and your support has been essential to our initiatives. So we really do appreciate it, Liz. And Mr. Troop, welcome aboard. Look forward to working with you and having a similar relationship. So we're happy to have you on. Anything you'd like to say?
Not really. I don't have much to say. I'm just glad to be in the meeting and look forward to working with you all.
Thank you. Anything else? Anybody have? You wanted to note perhaps for the minutes how much shorter the meeting was without Kathy here?
I'll make sure that
Just kidding.
I'll make sure that's in the minutes.
Tough crowd. Wow.
All right. If there's nothing further, then do we have a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
I still move.
Various motions and seconds. All in favor, aye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you all. We'll see you next month.
All right.
Thank you.